Hey guys, today's May 25th. It's a beautiful Monday, and I got a question from a student asking how can he make his sales calls better? Because he called 3 different people. All of them said that they loved his product and they loved his service. They said they'd think on it. And eventually, when they thought about it, they all decided to decline his offer. They all decided not to take him up on it, so he lost the sales 3 different times from 3 different people who told him that they love his product or service. And the student's asking, essentially, what can he have done differently? Where did he mess up in the call? What can he do better in his messaging? And a big mistake that I think a lot of beginner salesmen make, and even maybe expert salesmen, is that a lot of people seem to believe the words that are being told to them from the other end of the telephone or the other end of the sales call. Guys, I want you to understand that there's a lot of very polite people out there. It's like a woman. A woman might reject you just because she thinks you're ugly. But she doesn't say that. She says, "Oh, I'm busy. You know, you're a really nice guy, but I'm really busy. I just don't have the time, blah, blah, blah," right? People are nice. There are nice people out there. People don't want to call you fat. They don't want to call you ugly. They don't want to say that your product is shit. They don't want to say that your price is completely overvalued. People are not blunt like that, especially if you're talking to Americans. If you're trying to close American clients, I'm telling you now, they are not very blunt. They're very polite. They're very nice. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They just don't want your shit service. This is important to understand because once you understand that you can't treat other people's words as truth, once you can't treat other people's words as feedback, it teaches you to get better at sensing what actually is going on. When you ask that girl out and she says, "Oh, she's busy." Well, she's probably not that busy. If Ronaldo asked her out, I'm sure she'd probably make the time up, right? So what's the difference? Why would she say yes to Ronaldo but no to you? It's not because she's busy. That's just the word she told you. What could it actually be? And this is where you need to try to figure it out on your own. For this student who made these 3 phone calls, and every single one of them mentioned they liked his product or they liked his service, and then they thought about it, and then they ended up not going with him, not giving him any money, not buying the product or service. He needs to understand that they didn't really like the product or service. They didn't really like the price, and maybe they didn't really like you. This is where you guys, when you guys are doing your sales pitches, you guys need to get very good at analyzing people's tone, very good at analyzing where people pause, and very good at analyzing where the conversation in a way has shifted. When you open up a call with someone might be a little bit first frustrated. Why are you calling me? Who are you? And then if you get through that phase right, well, now they might be a little bit more interested. Now they might start asking you some interesting questions. At some point, if you mess up from that stage, right? If you had them interested, but you mess up, you'll notice a very, very quick shift to trying to end the phone call quickly. You'll notice that they'll start to say, "Oh yeah, no, this sounds really great. You know, I have to go think about this, blah, 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 blah." And then they're going to try and hang up the phone quickly. That's how you can identify what your mistakes are. It's not that the person has to go. It's not that the person all of a sudden just remembered they have this one thing to do and they have to go think about it. No, it's that you've messed up. They've decided in their brain it's a no, and they're going to try and get that across to you in a very polite way. So they're going to say, instead of just saying, "Nope, not interested," and hanging up on you, they're going to say some nice words to you. And I'm telling you guys now, if you listen to those nice words and you believe them to be true, you're never going to learn how to improve your sales pitches. You're never going to learn how to improve because you're not collecting the right feedback. I hate to use other people's words as actual feedback. I think it's so much more important to look at people's body language, to hear their tone, to hear their pacing, and to have an idea about where they are trying to move this call to. Here's a very simple example. If someone wants to hang up the phone on you, if someone's done talking, they are uninterested in what they want to hear from you, they're going to very quickly just try and rush through everything to get to the point where it's like, "Oh, well, we'll think about it soon, blah, 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 blah." They're going to try and push it off. If instead someone's actually interested, you'll probably start to know some really interesting questions. They'll ask a question about, "Oh, so how exactly does that work?" They're going to ask for explanations. Why? Because they're interested. If they're asking for details and they're asking you for questions, that means you've got them on the hook. That means you've done a very good job so far. And is it because of the words they're saying? No, not necessarily. They might ask a bad question. They might say, "Oh, this sounds too good to be true. I don't think that could be possible. How does that work?" Right? Sounds very negative. You might think, oh, I've messed up by now. But no, you didn't mess up. He's asking you for more details. He's trying to make the phone call longer. You have done a very good job in doing so. He might express it a little bit negatively, but you've done a good job if he's asking you questions. And the exact opposite could be true too. He might very nicely, in a very nice way, oh man, yeah, you sound like a really nice guy. You know, I just got to get going right now, but this sounds really great. Let me talk to my team and then I'll get back to you later. You completely fucked up by then. I know he said nice words. I know he put the words and made the words very nice. But as you can see, his intent is to end the phone call. His intent is to stop talking to you. He's trying to get away from you. You have messed up somehow. So just remember this for all of your sales. And to be honest, for all your people interactions in general. I find that a lot of people listen to the words and treat the words as gospel way too often than not. People, they hear nice words and they're like, okay, that person likes me. Well, not really. People use words to try to make you feel a certain way. Remember that. But what you can really do if you really want to predict what someone feels about you, just look at kind of what their actions are aiming for. Again, if someone says something very negative of you, negative of your product, negative of your service, but then they ask for more details, they are extending the length of the call, they want more details, they want more information, well, you've probably done a very good thing because now they are interested and now they actually might buy. If instead someone does a bunch of nice words, but they're trying to end the phone call as quickly as possible, as nicely as possible, well, you probably messed up somewhere there. Remember this for your feedback. Don't trust words so much as you trust what their intention is, what their tonality is, and any changes in the flow of the conversation. I'm sure if any of you guys are cold calling, if any of you guys are doing cold emails, I'm sure at the beginning it's quite a bit hostile because people are a bit like, why are you calling me? This is a bit of a disturbance. I'm sure that happens all the time. And if you do a good job, you will swap that flow. The flow will go from hostile into maybe still hostile, but interested in hearing more. That's how you know you did a good job. And be very careful. The easiest way for someone to just say that I don't want your stuff is to tell you a bunch of good things about yourself, say you're a great guy and you sound great and they'd love to work with you and they're going to call you back. Because I know those are a bunch of nice words, but they're just trying to hang up the phone call as fast as possible. They just don't want to hear you give any objections because it's hard to object when a guy just praises you over and over again. Yeah, man, you sound really great. The product sounds really great. I'll speak to you later. Yeah. Hang up. You said yes the whole time because you're like, yeah, I am great. Yeah, the product is great. Yeah, sure, Steve, I'll talk to you later. He just want to hang up, guys. Just keep this in your mind and just always remember this. I always use body language, tonality, and the intention behind whatever they're asking. Whether someone's asking things that are trying to extend the call or whether someone's trying to say something to quickly end the call. That's where I kind of get my feedback, and that's where I recommend you guys get your feedback too. Don't listen to words. Words, that's just what they want you to hear. The truth, that's in everything else. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this helps.